Hello everybody and welcome to the February 14th Valentine's Day Thursday edition of Video Clips. So happy Valentine's Day to everybody. I'm going to have chocolate biscotti today. I don't know about you guys. Hopefully you ordered some biscotti from the Wellness Farm Kitchen. Just a couple of announcements of things coming up toward the end of February. On Tuesday, February 26th, the person who owns Wellness Farm Philadelphia, Brigitte Blanco, is going to do a workshop through teleconference on healthy pregnancies and childbirth, dealing with everything from nutrition to ways to make childbirth easier, etc., etc. She is amazing, by the way. Love working with her, and she has so much information to share. And then on Thursday, February 28th, is the next Introduction to Plant-Based Nutrition. That's our 90-minute kickstart, show you the diet plan, show you how to do it, and get you started right away. That is going really, really well. We get such great feedback from these programs. And one of my very good friends, Lori Denman, who's a certified facilitator in Brooklyn, teaches those classes. So if you haven't taken that yet, I highly recommend it. All right, so I have a couple hot topics I want to cover today, one of which is the relationship between sports drinks and weight gain. Now, I'm not a fan of sports drinks. I think water should be the first choice beverage for athletes and all that kind of stuff. But here's the bottom line. Sales of sports drinks are increasing. And one trend that has helped is the propensity to change out the vending machines in schools, which, my gosh, needs to be done. But substituting low-fat and flavored milk products and sports drinks for soft drinks, I call that strategy, by the way, rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic. I mean, sugary beverages are sugary beverages, but sports drinks really are sugar, chemicals, and coloring agents just packaged under a different name. So in any case, this study involved data drawn from almost 11,000 kids from participants in the Nurses' Health Study 2. And by the end of each 2-year follow-up period of the study, the teenagers gained almost 2 pounds for every soft drink consumed daily. And if they consumed 2 soft drinks a day, the weight gain was 4 pounds. So it was dose dependent. That's one thing you look for in studies. But the teenagers gained even more weight if they consumed sports drinks, 3.5 pound weight gain for 1 sports drink consumed daily. Now, during the study, and in keeping with the national trend, soft drink consumption went down, sports drink consumption went up. According to the researchers, part of the problem with sports drinks is that they're, first of all, marketed as health promoting, and they're reported to have 50 calories per serving. But if you look at the bottles are not single servings. They're anywhere from 2 to 4 servings. A 32-ounce bottle, which is a typical size, has 200 calories, sometimes even more. As I said before, sugary beverages are sugary beverages. The product names and labels may change, but they have the same effect on weight and health. Very little disagreement, by the way, among nutrition professionals about this particular issue, which is that calories consumed in liquid form don't reduce the amount of calories consumed in food. They're just extra. And boy, there's very little that all nutritionists agree upon, so this is a noteworthy situation here. And particularly kids are vulnerable to the extra calories in liquid form. So the study illuminates the importance of paying attention to dietary pattern. I know you guys probably get tired of my talking about that all the time, but if we continue to approach health with substituting one bad thing with another thing that's deemed not quite so bad but essentially is the same, we're never going to get people to be lean and healthy. We're going to fight this battle for the rest of our lives. We've got to get people to look at the whole dietary pattern. How about we take everything out of those vending machines except water? You know, people aren't likely to overdose on water. It's a very unusual thing. People just drink water until they've had enough. They don't tend to over-consume it, and it has no calories. So that's what I recommend for athletes and all others. Now, the other thing I wanted to cover today is some new data from the EPIC study, which stands for European Prospective Investigation into Cancer and Nutrition. Now you know why we call it EPIC. We need something shorter than that. Residents of the UK eating a more plant-based diet have a 32% lower risk of dying of heart disease than their carnivorous counterparts. And the research team actually stated in an article in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition that a vegetarian diet could significantly lower the risk factors for developing heart disease. It is so fabulous to see this in mainstream journals. Now, if we could just talk my colleagues into reading the journals, right? The study included almost 45,000 participants from England and Scotland, 34% of whom identified themselves as being vegetarian. And not only did these vegetarians have a 32% lower risk for dying of heart disease, but also for hospitalization, lower blood pressure, lower cholesterol, lower body mass index, fewer cases of diabetes. They were healthier overall. Now, this doesn't surprise me, obviously, but the thing that is kind of noteworthy about this is that it is the largest study in the UK that has looked at the differences in heart disease risk between vegetarians and non-vegetarians. Now, I think the results would have been even more impressive if the vegetarians had been eating a plant-based diet that conformed to our guidelines. Studies comparing different dietary patterns have been plagued by definitions for as long as studies have been conducted. For example, what's the definition of low fat? Well, we say 15%, some studies say 30% or more. And what's the definition of vegetarian or plant-based? Well, our diet allows for no dairy, but consumption of 2 to 3 servings of organic animal food every week. Well, some people call themselves vegetarian, but they consume animal foods every day in the form of dairy and eggs and fish. So many of these people eat as much or more animal food as those who don't claim to be vegetarians, more carnivorous people. So we don't really have very many studies comparing our diet to people eating the standard American diet. But even when that loosely defined term vegetarian is used, these vegetarians did better in many, many ways than their carnivorous counterpoints. So I'm always tickled when I see this type of thing, particularly in major medical journals, pointing people in the direction of a more plant-centered diet. All right, that's all for now. I'll be back to you next week. As always, feel free to pass this on to anyone who you think might enjoy watching it. Have a great day and a great weekend.